over that, so to put the geohex down and try to,
Another
yeah.
Waterville Valley special.
Yeah, well, there's water everywhere, but it is good,
Waterville
though,
Valley.
we've identified all the bad drainage spots.
Good.
Okay, I think it's 6. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. This is actually an informational session that's going to be conducted by Mark Dakota, the town manager. But since there are 3 of us here, requires us to make this an official public meeting. So I will go ahead and open the meeting, and I'll just turn it over now to Mark.
Okay, so I've given you handouts. Thank you for coming. We're gonna be talking about the new transfer station setup down here. It's a pretty significant change to the way that we have been doing the transfer station down here, but my intent is to just go through these slides, give you all some information, explain why we're doing what we're doing and what the plan is down here. And then at the end, just open it up to questions and try to make sure that that you guys all have as much information as possible. We intend to, in addition to this information meeting, we're going to put out an article in the Wigwag. We're going to be doing a mailer to everybody with some additional information, which I will talk about as we go through here. We'll have regular updates on the town website. Our intent is to put this new system into place and start going by these new rules on September 11th, Monday, September 11th. So I'm going to get through the rest of the summer season and then get started this fall. So Steve will put some information up here and you'll have your handouts as well. I think this will be showing up for the folks on YouTube, right?
That's the intent.
That's the intent. The green button, what's it? The green button.
That's green.
Yeah, that green.
Can everyone see okay? Do we need to turn the lights off right over you? See the screen okay?
Yeah, and they all
You
have.
got it, okay.
So let's go to the next slide. Why are we doing this? Last year, we had an inspection in July of last year, which was the first inspection that we had of our solid waste transfer station in about 15 years. In that time frame, we had brought the dumpsters over here. They used to be down below by the wastewater treatment plant. If everyone remembers, we wanted to expand the number of them because we had more single-family homes to address that didn't have dumpsters at their locations. So we set this up, but we had never been inspected before. During that inspection, they noted 19 major deficiencies in the way that we had set up. Yeah, and
It was
had
written.
right there. So we were told, they gave us those results in August of last year, and they said you have 30 days to fix all of these deficiencies. And a lot of them were the things that we're doing now: put a fence around it, put a gate up, and etc. Because those are all part of the regulations for the operation of a transfer station. Obviously, we went back and said, we can't possibly do all of this in the next 30 days. We're talking about a system we've had in place for 20, 30 years or more. We need more time. And in addition to that, we're going to have to use this area down here for the construction area for the new wastewater treatment plant. So we negotiated with DES and said, if you give us some time, we're going to design a new transfer station up above where the current demolition debris and the brush pile is up by the lagoons. We'll meet all of these deficiencies and correct everything if you give us some time to build the new transfer station up there. DES agreed to that. However, they placed us under what's called an administrative order by consent, which means we have deadlines that we have to meet or we pay fines. So everyone agreed to that, and we started the design work, which is that plan back there by Bob, of the new big transfer station up above. Well, because of the new wastewater treatment facility, there was an environmental review which was required by DES. And so we were not able to put the project out to bid in time to get it constructed this summer. The AOC had a deadline of December 1st of this year, right, that they extended it to. So we went back to them and said, we can't build this because of this environmental review that you're making us do. So what can we do in the interim to meet the deadline of the AOC? And they said, okay, put a fence up around here and move your transfer station, make this meet all of the regulations. So that is what we are doing. We're trying to meet as much of the current regs as we possibly can down here, but it's only temporary, really temporary. It's now next summer, it will go up above when we build the full-blown plan over there. So when we cut the trees down and everything, that was in anticipation of building that facility up there. And we just weren't able to put it out to bid and get it done. So that is why we are doing what we're doing down here. So what exactly are we required to do? Next slide. In the state regulations for transfer stations can only be open between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Daily. So the fact that we've had dumpsters that are open for people to use 24/7 is against the regulations. So you must set up the transfer station so that you can limit and control access. The other part of that is you must have a staff person, trained staff person at the site when it is open. So we are going to actually close these gates when we're not open, and they will be closed and locked. And when they are open, we have to have an attendant there that has been through the DES training to run the operation. We also are not allowed, transfer stations are not allowed to accept waste from outside of the community that permits them. So again, with 24/7 access, we could not tell DES that the trash that is being deposited there actually comes from Waterville Valley. It can come from anywhere, right? So that was against the regulations. So we are setting this up so that those were two major points or three major points that DES wanted us to address as soon as possible. And then we have to meet all of the other regulations, which includes there are limited materials that you can take at the transfer station. You cannot take batteries, you cannot take paint, and that sort of thing. And we had that being deposited here because it was open all the time, right? And it wasn't being monitored at all. So our operation that we've set up will meet all of the regulations the way that they're laid out in the state by the state. Next slide. So the area that we're talking about here regularly has about 6 or 7 dumpsters. We have 72 dumpsters all throughout town. DES only regulates these 6 or 7. And the reason for that is because if you are at the site where the trash is being generated, okay, the DES regulations do not apply. So the dumpsters that are out at the condos, the state says that's the source, that's where it's being generated, so they can collect their trash however they want, okay? So that's why you see sometimes a dumpster beside a house along the road, right? DES doesn't regulate that because that house is where the trash is being generated, so they can have a dumpster there, and it's not part of the regulation. As soon as we take the single-family homeowners out around town and you bring it into a central collection point like we do over here, it now falls under the regulations. So again, we're talking about a small number of dumpsters compared to everything, and we're going to be able to pick up trash at our commercial sites and at the condos and everything else, just like we always have. There's no change to any of that. It's only down here. So that's why, that's a major consideration that we have here, is we're only dealing with about 10% of our trash, maybe less. Construction and demolition debris dumpster, that's an allowed use or a regulated use. And you'll notice we built a little ramp there so that we're going to bring the dumpster down here on the 11th, and we're going to set it up down here, and contractors and folks that are rebuilding, remodeling, whatever, they're going to be able to dump their trash into that dumpster, just like you do up above now. The metal dumpster, same thing, recycled metal, clean metal. We're going to bring that dumpster down from up above, and that'll be put beside the connexes out here. And we're going to be using it like we regularly do. Appliances, tires, and electronics will be in the containers over here. And we'll collect them as we normally do up above. So those operations are not going to change. They're just going to be done in a different location. We currently are staffing, and we did include in the town budget request in March. We included increasing our current part-time employee to full-time status. And we plan on doing that at the beginning of September when we make this change. That person will do the coverage here, and we'll talk about the hours of operation in a minute. That person will cover the transfer station, and they also are on our trash truck, and they do other work within the Department of Public Works. So they will work 5 days a week. But we won't be open all 5 of the days. And then the swap shop, the red ship, that is actually an allowed use at a transfer station. It is part of the regulations, but it's going to be a lot different than it currently is. You're going to have to ask the attendant if you can leave something there. And then if not, then you're either going to put it in the demolition debris, take it away with you, or whatever. But that will be much more controlled than it is right now. Okay. But we are still going to continue to have that available. So what does the new setup look like? Oh, I don't know. We've got these magically disappearing pictures on our PowerPoint. So I'll work off of, there's another one of these over there, and there's a really small one on your handout. But
We get a good view of your work on YouTube.
oh, good.
You can see it.
Oh, you can? Great. Okay, so here's the DPW garage, right? And we're up here in Town Hall right now. Okay, so you'll come down Triple I Road just like you do now, make a right, and then your first right, there will be the gate here, and there'll be an attendant here. And we're going to have stickers for that we will distribute to everybody. We're working on exactly how that's gonna happen in the next few weeks, but you'll have a sticker on your car that says you're a Waterville Valley resident, so that we know that the trash that you're gonna dispose of came from Waterville Valley.
Property owner or resident?
Property owner, sorry, yes, I'm sorry, I do use those interchangeably, but good catch, property owner will get a tag. So you'll be checked in here, and the dumpsters will be on your left-hand side like they are now. We'll have the ramp that we built out here will be used for the construction debris. The metal can will be over here. The 2 containers that'll have the tires and electronics and all of that in it will be over here. This will be open Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 8:30 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. On Mondays and Wednesdays, we will be on call. You can make an appointment to drop off brush at the brush pile. The reason that we have to do that is anytime this gate is open, we have to man the transfer station. So we can't do, and she has to be able to see everything as it gets dropped off. So we can't have her go up to the brush pile and help someone open the gate and help someone up there. If she has to be here, otherwise we'd have to close and lock these gates. So we are gonna work with that, and we're gonna adapt as we go through, but initially, we're gonna do the brush by appointment only on the off days. And we're doing it by appointment rather than just opening it up, because if we opened it up, she'd have to sit there all day. And we need her to do the other job around town. So, this will be the main area for, it's not really recyclables, but for the bulk waste will be over here, and then you'll drive out after dumping everything. The red shed will be there, but like I said, you'll have to say, hey, I got this chair or whatever it is, I'd like to leave it at the shed. So if somebody wants it, and she'll look at it and say, yeah, you can do that, or you have to throw it away or take it with you. Okay, so that's the general flow. So it's a lot like it is right now, just more control. And then when we're closed, those weeks will be closed as well. I talked about stickers.
Mark,
Yes,
there's something that's left at the trading shed,
yeah,
like a computer monitor or something like that.
yeah.
Is the fee not charged at that point for disposal?
We have not had a discussion about that, but it will be up to the board, what we do. A lot of the stuff that gets left there right now should be disposed of, quite frankly, most of it, should be.
And there's a fee schedule for
And
that.
there's a fee schedule, and
Right.
So that's a big, that will be a lot different, right? There will be a lot of material that gets left there right now. Paint gets left there, batteries get left in the building, oil, believe it or not, motor oil gets left. None of that is going to be allowed in there. Okay, and if you have something that's broken, a TV or the computer monitor or whatever, there is a fee schedule, and she will be collecting for payments for that.
And we're not proposing to change the fee
No.
schedule from what it's been.
This is our current fee schedule, and we're gonna keep it the same, right?
So Mark, there's nothing to prevent condo owners from putting all that stuff in their own dumpsters? They could put a computer in there?
We inspect the dumpsters as we tip them into the truck. If the crew sees a TV monitor or demolition debris or whatever in the dumpster, They put it down and they call the property management company or the association. And they say, clean the dumpster out and we'll be back to dump it. And that happens regularly.
Okay, so if you live in a condo and you have a mattress, you need to follow
You're gonna
this
be,
new.
you're gonna bring,
procedure.
that's why everybody, all property owners are gonna get a sticker. Because those folks are gonna come and they're gonna put it in the demo debris, or they're gonna put it in another location.
Barbara, they should have been doing that
Which,
all along.
which they should have been
Right.
doing, but
Yeah.
what happened was on the
No, you're
weekends,
absolutely correct.
you know, Monday mornings, we would come in and there'd be 7 mattresses and all kinds of stuff that we should have been charging fees for, but people were just dropping them off.
Well, there's also the mailbox there. Sure.
And there was mailbox and a lot of times we would, there was an honor
Find money in
system
there.
and sometimes we would find them. But not,
I've been involved.
not to the
Which
level
way,
of-
Mike?
I put money in.
Okay,
So the stickers you're referring to.
Yeah.
Is that 2 per household? What do you plan on doing?
Um,
And are you charging?
Yeah, well, okay, so I'm gonna surprise my bosses here. So,
this is never a good thing.
no, this is never a good thing. We're gonna make final decisions on all that next Wednesday. We are getting enough stickers so that people can have multiples. We have not reviewed amongst us, and there's been no final decision on how many stickers and how they get sent out, but we've talked as a staff and we're gonna have a proposal to the board next Wednesday.
Would you like to charge a fee for the stickers?
There'd be no fee probably for the first sticker at least,
Yeah,
and maybe there'd be a charge for
And
a
what-
second one,
and
but a
what
minimal
staff-
charge for a second one if you need a second one.
yeah, and what staff talked about over the last couple of days is a free first sticker, $5 for the second sticker.
Per year?
And it will be a multi-year sticker. I don't know if it'll be 2 or 3 years, we gotta figure that out as well, but that's.
Yeah,
That's
remember
generally
the
what-
reason we're leaning in the direction that Bob mentioned is that the sticker is just like, it's used to identify the person as an authorized user. People are paying through their quarterly bill
That's what-
for the trash portion of it. So it's gonna be the same. Whether you're a condo owner or a single family home owner, and it's not fair to add. People have to use this to have them pay more.
Is it required that the sticker be stuck to the vehicle or?
Well, no, I don't think so. Again, we use a sticker system in Thornton. And we kept it on the paper backing and move it between the cars.
Oh.
They do say they want them mounted on the windshields. We have not settled on every piece of the operating plan yet, but we would want it prominently viewed so that all she has to do is look and say, okay, that's a car that's allowed to use the facility.
Will detail the instructions in that
Exactly.
mailing that we send the stickers out in.
And there will be a different color sticker for commercials. For the commercial users, because they have the pay per tip dumpsters and there'll be slightly different rules for the commercial entities as they're using them. And obviously, they're gonna need 4 or 5 stickers for the property management companies, et cetera, to cover all their vehicles. So we'll have a different color and a different set of rules for those commercials.
Do all the commercial people, yeah, I don't even think about contractors.
Mhm.
Can they, I think they can use the current system. I know I've used it to throw things up back there and pay for it.
Mhm.
Are they able to use this or do they use
Well,
it?
if they are registered with us as doing work and they have a sticker, then yes.
So any contractor who has a sticker?
Again, there's a lot of questions. This is a
Yeah.
big change in how we do
Well,
things.
it'll be contractors that work here
Here
in
in
town,
town.
because you could have contractors from other cities coming to dump at our station,
Yeah.
so.
They will have to show us a building permit or some other reason that they have material in their vehicle. Right? And then we currently do that.
So there's some check
So
on this.
there will be a check.
Right. Can they drive up now, up back there and just,
If they have the building permit, if they have a reason for doing it,
Then they
or
can
they're
come, yeah.
they're regulars here like Valley Run. Property management, we know them, and they're doing regular work here.
how do they pay? By weight or?
Yeah, we have a fee schedule and we go by pickup, truckload, quarter, half.
I know, if you, I paid to
Yeah,
pick up
yeah.
that much time, but.
So
okay,
it's not by weight, it's,
Okay.
it's by volume.
There's the other commercials too in town. but
And
not the
then we
contract.
have other
Yes.
commercials, right, the town square and the Snowy
The
Owl.
businesses.
and
So why would they would have,
They
use
have
their own
dumpsters, they have their own dumpsters, sometimes those dumpsters fill up. And they have to come here, we will use this same, like if they have a quarter of a pickup truckload. They will have to pay, even if it's regular household waste, because they pay for that per tip.
right, I'm sorry, I understand.
So any,
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
so any recycling component won't kick in until that phase?
Yeah.
Okay,
We're working on a couple of recycling initiatives that we would put in place when we do that.
For household waste,
Well, for household
Right,
waste
right
and
now,
even commercials.
commercial, but we do some recycling now
Just for the metal pile.
for the metal, but
Yeah.
I think you were
Yeah.
referring to household.
household.
Yeah,
Household, but-
household recycling and all of that will be once we get up there.
Okay.
Yeah, next year. We just don't, there's not enough physical space to do it down here.
Is the assumption if the construction debris generated in Waterville Valley for a Waterville
Correct,
customer, contractor should be able to dump that?
that's correct. Yeah. Yeah. And we'll figure out how that works with a temporary sticker or whatever it is.
Mark,
Yeah.
this works well for the DES requirements, single family home deposition. The other thing is to keep in mind is that the dumpsters in the past have been used largely by condo people, because at least our condos at Noon Peak, the dumpsters routinely fill up. People are very inefficient on putting big cardboard boxes and things.
Yep.
And they fill up, especially in the weekend, and the winter, people are very sloppy, they pile stuff on top of the dumpster, they set it all, it's a.
All illegal.
And so, we are always encouraging people to drive down to the transfer station.
Yep.
So, I would guess that a significant part of the usage will not just be single family homes.
No, that's correct.
But the other concern is, to what extent will these unguarded condo dumpsters now become dumping points either for single family homes that can't get there in time, or people coming out of town? That's.
Oh, the commercials
We're
too.
gonna have to
Or
work.
commercials.
sort of
I know you can't
commercials. We're gonna-
regulate that, but
We're
that's the
not gonna be, I mean, we're gonna have to work with condo associations and with the commercial.
Yeah.
Properties and figure out what the impact is on them. And try to figure out how to handle that.
My worry is that by having these required and good regulations here, it's going to make it even worse in
Yeah.
condos.
Yeah, well,
Mark, looking at the 3 days per week, 8 to 3 o'clock. I know there was a wildlife camera out there monitoring to see, if people had done dumping anything. Have you looked at the times, the busy times that people use? Because I cannot imagine in the winter, skiers that are here for the weekend, they're gonna be out of here by 3 o'clock. 8:30 to 3 o'clock on a Sunday in the winter. It doesn't make any sense for people that are here just on the weekends. That are trying to get their trash done after the ski day, when the ski day ends at 4.
Okay.
Likewise, I'm luckily no longer working. I'd never be able to make it. My workday is 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. Then I was a ski instructor on the weekend. And I'm there until 3:30, 4 o'clock on the weekends. And I'm not atypical. I just don't think that this is gonna work for people that are still employed. They can't get here between 8:30 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon on 2 days a week.
we'll take that into consideration.
We'll say we have looked at other towns. And days they're open, some are 2 days, some are 5
Is
days.
the wildlife camera still up?
We have a camera.
We will have cameras.
No, but I know there was a wildlife camera up monitoring.
We have cameras monitoring.
Right. Can you look, can somebody do some analysis to see what time for people dumping trash is? Because if they're not dumping trash in 8 and 12, why be open between 8 and 12? Be
Well,
open when people use
it's
it.
not, well, but it's not an apples to apples comparison, because right now, people come here at 2 AM. People come
I
here
understand, but if it's,
every day of the week.
if 90% of the people are coming here between 4 and 6. And you're not open between 4 and 6, you're not getting the masses. We don't want to talk about the exceptions. I think you want to be talking about the
Understood.
masses.
Okay.
Is it possible to avoid this entire thing until our permanent one is built, just by putting the dumpsters into the neighborhoods?
Cannot,
Private homes?
we asked.
We tried.
We tried, that was part of our negotiation, was to build more enclosures. But
That
they
makes sense.
said, because they're single family homes, not condos. It's not source generation under their regulations and you can't do it. I know.
That
That was one of the first, that was one of the first thing we tried.
That is the
Yeah.
very first thing that we said. Was, can't we just build dumpster enclosures somewhere near the houses? And DS said no.
Just one other question, on Mike's thing, I was thinking more about, it hasn't happened in a few years, but for lots of times, we had big messes there on holiday weekends. I mean, where nothing's picked up and there was garbage everywhere. So I'm curious about that too, because the holidays here, when there are a lot of people there, the dumpsters are free. I mean, I have to come down a lot, and I just go back and wait a couple days. I'm just curious about that, because you do have a lot of, you know, particularly in the winter, these big packed weekends.
We will have holiday weeks, we will have.
Holidays will be
holiday
open at
weekends.
different times.
We may adjust our schedule. It's also, remember, all of our big holidays are during the winter. And I think my next slide. Talks about inclement weather. These days that we're in, times that we're open, if it's snowing, these same staff people plow. So where it's going to be really a,
Well, I was thinking
Unknown.
more to his point about those weekends, you know, that are really busy.
oh yeah,
I
I
mean,
know.
that's gonna exacerbate the problem that he's discussing.
Well, that's why we have Sunday, because people
That's why we have-
leave to go back to Massachusetts or whatever on Sunday and rather than Saturday. So that's why Sunday is one of the days.
And what we would like to do is, we'll look at the time, we'll start the system, we'll look at the times. If people aren't able to come in until later in the day or whatever, these times can be adjusted. But
I think you'd have
we've got
to
a
think-
starting point.
You'd have to think about Monday holidays though.
And we do.
Oh, that's in there.
We do have Monday
That's in there.
holidays instead of Sundays.
Sundays.
All right.
So Mike, I think if people are going up to ski and they know the rules and they know we close at 3, they can dump their trash up on the way to go skiing. And then at the end of the day, they just leave.
Or a family member.
People will adjust,
Yeah,
you know.
I agree. My other comment, when we are out of here and we're in the new place, will the
Yeah.
brush pile be there?
It will. There will be a brush. There-
Another thing that, you know, I'm glad that we're out of brush season, but you know, in the spring, you know, I gotta clean the yard and it's now by appointment only, as opposed to Monday, Wednesday, Friday to drive it.
And
And we could have different, we talked about different hours at different times of the year based on
I
holidays.
mean, we're gonna have to, and this is a temporary situation because we just have a limited amount of space. You know, we may have to make adjustments on brush during the springtime. We may have to commit her to a full day up there to take brush. We'll figure that out. It's just, we've gotta have a starting point.
What's the time frame on the new transfer
The
station?
new transfer station, we actually just got the bid documents to send out to contractors today. And so they will be starting the bidding process on that. And we'll see what the bids are that we get back on it. I'm hoping that we can get started pretty early in the spring. Have somebody on board, ready to go, started in the spring and be up there. There are some wastewater treatment plant considerations that we have to take into account. The same area that we're using up above there is currently our sludge drying bed. And so we've got to figure that out.
Are you hoping for July, hoping for September?
Yeah, I think
Probably later.
having
the
it
fall.
later in the
Yeah.
fall,
So we're starting this September, we're a full year.
Probably.
a year.
And
Probably.
Probably,
maybe
yeah.
even another 6 months until,
No, we
Hope
won't
not.
go beyond. They're not gonna let us go into 25.
okay.
We're
So
gonna
by-
have
by
to be
December
operating.
24.
December of 24 is going to definitely be a
Okay.
deadline. They're not, DS is not real happy that we're down here because it doesn't meet every one of their regulations, but they're letting us do it. They understand the constraints that we're under. I wish they let us go a little bit further. They won't. So we talked about the disposal of the regular waste by the commercial users. And then modifications, this is gonna be a very fluid thing. And we will communicate to the community changes as we make them. And if the times don't work, we'll work on.
I'd be surprised if somebody, Lambert or somebody, doesn't come up with a trash pickup service.
Oh, I already said I'm with this.
Yeah.
$100 a month for anybody that wants them, on my way.
All right, and that's it. So, hope we addressed all of the questions and we're gonna try to make this as painless as we can.
I was just gonna say, it's a moving target.
It
It's
is.
gonna take us a little bit of time to adjust to everything.
I do have one other comment. I'm surprised. This was a surprise to me. At the meeting, my understanding, at least my interpretation of understanding, was we're gonna convert somebody from part-time to full-time, and I thought that person would be helping to extend hours from these 3 days, and now that person is job sharing, doing other stuff other than just being attendant for the transfer station. I mean, if there's need for other stuff, job sharing, plowing, trash pickup remotely, which was not in this person's job, that was up on the upper field. Why not just hire somebody to do that?
We've talked about that too.
Because that money's short money. I did the math. 3 days is at $20 an hour is like $25,000,
Right.
$50 to $1 million.
So
Assessment.
We've talked about it.
talk about the March town meeting, if we want to do that.
Well, I thought, so again, maybe it was my misinterpretation of what was presented at the March town meeting. But I thought at the March town meeting, it was converting this person to full-time was to address this exact problem. And it sounds like it's not addressing this problem. It's plowing, it's doing other issues that are unrelated to the transfer station.
Well, the brush pile is also part of her responsibilities too, and that's on the other days.
That's on the other days. I mean, what we are currently, we're going to appointment only for something that she does 3 days a week right now. So
Understood.
those days are gonna
So-
be very heavily committed to this. But there are other duties even in addition to the brush pile. And it's simply, once they get co-located, there may be more time, but we don't know yet.
I did the same calculation, 25,000.
25,000.
Sounds right.
And the other 2 days, you'd have to send somebody for training.
And you have to find somebody
And you gotta find somebody.
to do it.
Insurance and all that too, right?
It would be a staff. Yeah,
Well, it'd be a
well,
part-
no.
it'd be a part-
It'll be a part-time, but there are,
employee.
so there are
Yeah.
some limited payroll costs that go along with that. It comes out to about 27,000 when you start putting all of the other stuff into it. But it is something that the board has talked about with getting some additional part-time help. We just want to make sure that we can, once we commit to doing a time, that we can sustain it. Okay, because yes, we are increasing this person to full time. But if that person is out on sick or whatever, we are now taking another person from DPW that's doing another job and filling in,
Mhm.
which we currently have to do in the setup that we have right now.
So to me, it even sounds more compelling to go find a part-time person.
Well, I think we're gonna have to,
Right.
even if we just keep these
If you
limited
have a part-time
hours.
person, you can then have flexibility to extend the hours.
And the upper transfer stations, what we've been calling it, it may require more than one attendant too. We're
Yeah,
wrestling with
once
that.
this is done, we might need two people.
We might
We
need two
might need
people,
two
two
people.
full-time people.
When it's open, so that'll be even more additional staff.
It just made me think of something.
Mhm.
Is the capacity being increased in the new facility? In terms of, we now have 6 to 7 dumpsters, is it gonna be different? Cause you know,
No,
like, I know
it-
down in Campton, it's just a giant dumpster with a compactor.
Right,
So I'm just curious if it's gonna have more capacity, given that there are so many more residents and there's more houses being built and. It would seem to me that what we have now, at some points, it quickly outgrow itself.
it is large enough to increase the capacity. Right now, we do have some things that we're working on for recycling. So that we could expand some of the operation there, what we provide, the services we provide.
There've been about 40 new condos coming online.
Right.
And I don't know, 6 houses, 5 or 6
Yeah.
houses.
Yeah.
So those condos, and that's why we've jumped up to 72
Right.
dumpsters. The town has already begun placing, or will be placing dumpsters. And that's part of their site plan review.
Yeah, I was
In
just
front of
more
the
thinking
planning
about,
board.
we've had giant growth in residents.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'd have to think this
Yeah.
is it being planned big enough for any,
That will be big enough for additional
Yeah.
services.
I
If we
mean,
can get the people,
If we can get.
that's gonna be I
well, I'm
think,
gonna
the
have to
issue.
do it if there's more people, because it's stuff.
No, I mean, employees,
Employees.
workers, yeah, trying to find
Using-
full-time workers.
Using all the trash facilities, right, or even in the condos, it's just more people around. So I would think even the volume here has to be growing from what.
Oh, it
was
is, yeah,
3 years ago.
and the staff hasn't.
And, we're under the same pressures, Bob, you were just saying about Thornton. What did you talk
I
about?
heard my plumber was just at my house, which I can't believe I got a plumber, but he said
What's his
that
name?
the Thornton dump was closed on Saturday because they're full.
was
They couldn't
full.
take any more, so they closed.
The compactor got full, so they closed. So, yeah, so I mean, everybody, and they're down staff. At Thornton.
Are we going back this kind of a system up top, or is it a compact?
It's this type of
I think
system
that's-
continuing on.
It's possible we can be more efficient, if it's the off season. Right now, you can go throw your stuff in any dumpster of the 6 or 7. If Jennifer's down there and you come with your trash, she could say, please use dumpster number 1 and number 2 so that. We're more efficient and we're filling up a dumpster, so we don't have 3 or 4 of them that are
Yeah.
third full.
Right, and she will be monitoring it, which is one of the big things that the state dinged us for, and that will include things like breaking down boxes.
Yeah.
So you can get
Yeah.
more, as Bob was saying, you get more trash in the dumpster.
And plus, if we're charging for all the stuff that we see there on Monday morning right now. We're gonna have a little bit more income to work with
Yeah.
as well.
Because the honor system's great.
Yeah.
Until it isn't.
And there'll be fines if people start leaving their trash outside the fence area when we're closed.
That's right, I should have mentioned that, we'll have, yes,
Yeah, we are.
we're gonna have cameras. Yeah, and we already have, there already is a town ordinance and based in regulations where there are fines for improper dumping.
I don't know if there is signage now, but I guess there would need to be more detailed signage at the condos about. Here's the things you cannot, that must.
They don't read them.
And I know, but
I put them up, they
I
don't
know.
read them.
But
That is something we're gonna need to help.
But
the
list
condo
the hours,
associations
they must
on.
go to the
Yeah.
transfer station at these hours. I know
that's
it's still
good.
closed.
Does everybody, I think, should be required listening to listen to Alice's Restaurant, if anybody has never listened to the Alice's Restaurant song, I recommend it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your input and your time. Oh, yes.
When the new transfer station is built, what's gonna happen at the location of the existing?
it's gonna be the construction laydown area for the wastewater treatment facility. So it'll be cleared off, and that's where all the building material and everything will go for the next couple, 3 years.
And after that, and.
After that, nothing planned. There's gonna be, once we build the new plant, it's gonna be much closer to this area, right? It's gonna be right beside the DPW garage. So what I would anticipate that there'll be a lot of traffic in there for the operation of the plant, trucks and all of that type of. So. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Anyway, he said one of the select board meetings, like, 2 years ago. December.